Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Aspire to Inspire, where we interview industry professionals. Today, I'll be interviewing working actress Liz Lafontant. Hopefully, I pronounced that correctly. I want to put some respect on her name because she has an amazing film credit. She has appeared on two Tyler Perry shows, first one being Tyler Perry's Bruh, and also appearing on Tyler Perry's show, The Oval. So, honestly, at this time, I am so grateful for her to share her experience of being a working actress, what she aspires to do with her life, and any dreams that she would like to achieve. We're just here to talk about her and what she desires to do with her platform. So I'm going to bring her onto our stage.
Hello.
Hi, how are you doing today?
I am well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. First off, I am so grateful to have you on this platform, just to share your area of expertise. I'm pretty sure as an actress yourself, you love what you do and you're able to do it so boldly and confidently. And, we're just here to inspire some people to be a light, to inspire working actors and actresses who, anybody who watches this really. So again, thank you for sharing your time.
Oh my God. Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here. I'm happy that you asked me. I'm always looking to inspire anyone, and it goes deeper than acting. Sometimes we think we're only inspiring actors, but we're inspiring people who just want to take the leap of faith in following their dreams. So I'm just so happy to be here. Thank you.
Of
Thank you for
course,
inviting
of
me.
course. Anytime. And listen, I like to start off our first question with a little get to know me. And, this is kind of the opportunity where you can just give us your life story, whatever you feel comfortable sharing, please do. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do.
Sure, I'd love to. So I began acting how many years ago? I think it's 6 years now, and I started out in Florida. And I had really no desire to be an actor. Most people say, I've wanted to be an actor my entire life. For me, it was quite the opposite. I actually, I loved modeling, but I was on track to be a nurse or something. I went to school at USF, Go Bulls, University of South Florida, and I graduated with my degree in public health. And midway through that process, I knew that I didn't feel fulfilled. So I started modeling, fell in love with modeling, but I had as much success as I could in my town and with my height. I'm 5'3". So, I had recommendations from my brother and a good friend of mine to like just try acting. And I was like, well, you know what do I have to lose? So I think I was like, I don't know, like in my sophomore year of college, and I took my first acting class, and I have not looked back. I fell in love with all of it. I fell in love with the craft. I fell in love um, with getting just lost into a different character, but also finding myself within that character, meeting people and seeing their vulnerability and being able to connect with two completely different people and like I'm a different person, they're a different person, and we completely lose ourselves into the characters and then bring a life into the world and connect with people. And that's what I fell in love with acting. Why I really fell in love with it is because the ability to connect with people and show people that they're not alone. And I truly believe that that's what the craft is about, is like really allowing people to see that they're not in this by themselves, that they're not the only ones feeling these odd feelings that they can't even really place, or going through these different life experiences. Yeah, so I fell in love with acting, and I just, you know, I was very lucky to be in an amazing acting class where I was able to meet different actors, but also meet, my different agents that I was with, different casting directors, perform for them. And met Raven Drummer, which is Tyler Perry's in-house casting director. She is phenomenal. She is a phenomenal woman. She is so amazing in so many ways. And she saw something in me and gave me an amazing opportunity to work on the Oval, and just through that catapulted into a different opportunity to work on Bruh. And yeah, so I just recently moved to LA myself about a year ago, just to, expand my portfolio, expand my staple in the acting industry. Being in the Southeast, it's just kind of, there's different industries, or there's different regions in which you can um, you can work in, and so that was a region that LA hasn't been a region I was working in, so
Mhm.
I moved out here to make that big leap. So here we are today.
Yeah, and you touched on a lot of things that honestly my other questions lead into. And thank you so much for sharing. You
Absolutely.
know, based from where you are, you were able to make your dreams a reality. And not only that, you're taking a leap of faith to expand your portfolio, as you said. And that's very, very heavy on my heart to say, because it's kind of like the same thing for actors who feel as though they're like not getting anything from where they are. That's
Mhm.
inspiration for someone out there who's just feel as though they're stuck no matter where they are in the market as a working actor. There are opportunities where you can take that leap of faith. And maybe this is a little message for you guys to do so as well, for the viewers out there who are listening.
Mhm.
So thank you so much for sharing that.
Of course.
That spoke to me in ways. So
That's good. I'm
truly,
glad.
truly
I'm
did.
glad. That is
Yes,
I'm
yes.
happy about that.
Yeah, and you touched on training, which I believe is so beneficial for working actors, but a
Mhm.
lot of beginning actors don't really understand the importance behind that. Could you possibly talk about, I guess, the importance of training as a working actor and how that never stops?
Absolutely. It never stops. I think of it this way. Doctors never stop training, and doctors have to perform, life-threatening procedures, in order to keep people alive. So why wouldn't we, someone what we do is important. It's extremely important, but acting is something that you have to continue to practice on. So not only do you have to continue to practice, but you have to build a craft. You have to build a craft, and you have to do that. And the best way to do that is through an acting class, where you get to work off of other energies, other people, which I mean, and that's what we're going to be doing anyway on screen. So you have to get that practice going, and you have to feel confident in with what you how you get to from one place, which is your being state, in which you however you're feeling as a human being, and then completely hop into someone else and their being state. So it's so important to cultivate your own craft. And not only do you cultivate a craft in acting class, but you also find your peers. You find other actors, you find, you know, your acting teacher who can guide you into different directions and show you the different things that maybe you need to work on, or also one other important thing is show you where you're strong in. I think oftentimes people can be like afraid of an acting class or something because, they're afraid of rejection, which is, I mean, our business, but afraid of maybe feeling like what they're doing is wrong. But if you're with that right acting teacher, they'll show you how brilliant you are and just help you, you know, cultivate that and make that more fine tuned.
Mm.
Um, and it's, I think, back to the peers thing, it's so important to have a group of people who understand what you're going through,
Yeah.
because this what we do is it's very interesting and unique thing.
Mm.
You lose yourself into to a character, but you also have to like show up as a real person in real life. It's a ton of rejection. There's one role and millions, or not millions, sometimes millions, thousands of people auditioning for that same role, hundreds of people auditioning for that same role. And so by nature, it is a business where you will be experiencing a lot of rejection. So it's important to have people around you who know what you're going through, who can like talk you out of your dark places, because honestly, you'll go through those times where it will be dark. So if you have a community of people who understand you and also who you can work off of, it's invaluable. It's
Yeah.
really
Yeah. Well
important.
said. That was
Thank you.
beautiful. Yeah, I appreciate that, because not only does an acting class, expand your acting muscle, it
Absolutely.
helps you create a community within, your acting class.
Yeah.
You're along with people, or with people wwho are in the same boat as you are.
Mhm.
And you also touched on the importance of how we get lost because we don't feel as though, that rejection hits hard, first of all. It's it's the
Sure.
hardest thing for us to go through for anybody in that
Mhm.
circumstance. But with a community and with an acting class, it's like a constant reminder to yourself that, hey, I am working. Hey, it may be quiet right now, but when I'm ready, I'll be ready for it. So
Yes.
speaking on that,
Yes.
that is just so, so, so important. I think a lot of people, there's just a lot of misconceptions that can come about from, the job of an actor and, how that can go. Sometimes we'll get rejection for so long and we might not hear anything. But then when that moment does come, we put in that self tape and then again, we don't hear a single thing at all. So
Mhm.
I ask you, what do you believe is one of the greatest misconceptions, people have in regards to the job of an actor or an actress? Honestly, anything you could say here.
Mm. One of the common misconceptions. I think there's so many, honestly. I think maybe someone, let's say someone who hasn't gotten in, who has no idea anything about acting and, is just hops in, thinking that it's glamorous and it's, you know, there is glamour to it, of course, but that is like the tip of the iceberg, or that's the cherry on top. That's like the sweet spot. But what people don't see is all the hard work that you have to put in, all of the times you have to like pat your own self on the back, all the times where you have to, you know, um, just pick yourself up out of a place where a dark place or a sad place or somewhere where, if you have going through, and they care about us so much and they care about our well-being. So um, that journey that of going into your dreams, like living out your dreams, um, and dealing with that rejection and still going on despite the rejection, it's not really something that you can put into words. You just have to experience it, and you have to just really be like really strong in your desire and your vision,
Yeah.
what it is that you want, because without that strength, it's not a business that you would want to get involved in.
Mm, that's very true. That's very true. It
Yeah,
seems though it just comes back to you, and I don't want to say how badly you want it, but how far are you willing to go?
right.
Are you really in it for the glamour or for the fame, or are you willing to do this because of the love of it, the training of it?
Exactly.
And that's where you find those who love it and those who don't. Sadly,
Mhm.
that's kind of how it is. But for those individuals who are training and who are working hard and it comes, to pass in the future.
Yep,
That hard work pays off. That's a true statement. And it
absolutely.
goes towards, anybody. So yes, thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
sharing that. There's so
Yes,
much truth behind
of
that.
course, of course.
Yeah,
And
man.
how much it is that you're willing to, you have to remember your why, because if you don't remember your why, you can get lost and really try to, start to think, "Well, why am I doing this?
Mm,
What's the purpose of me doing this? Is this because if it's your why isn't super strong, isn't super like built in your entire fabric, it's going to be extremely hard, and you probably I wouldn't say, I don't want to discourage anyone by saying that you won't last, but you might have a different idea of what you would want to do with your life, which is totally fine. It's 100% okay to like completely go on a different, spectrum or do something else. And I think sometimes, actors are afraid of that because see, they, because you're trying so hard for so long, and the fear of like appearing as a quote unquote failure is a fear that keeps actors from doing something that they like, from changing their career path. And don't ever feel that way. It's at the end of the day, this is something that we love to do. It should be fun. But your life and how you feel, and how you feel about yourself is way more important. And if you can't shake that feeling of the rejection or feeling those feelings, and it eats away at you to a point where, you're wondering about your mental health, that's when you have to step away and really reevaluate why you're doing it, really why you're
Mhm.
doing it. Because you shouldn't be that. It shouldn't get to that point.
Mm. Yeah, you touched on something very important, mental health, and what a prevalent time that, mental health is such a major topic nowadays because it's finally being highlighted. People go through certain things. And I know as actors, we're we get to have fun playing other characters.
Mm,
And with that responsibility, we're not only taking on our demons, but our doubts, our fears, rejection, the whole shebang, if I should say. And that can really do damage to a person.
for sure.
So for you to just talk so boldly about that and to make that a conversation starter about mental health, these are definitely certain things that we should be made aware of because it happens.
Absolutely.
It really does happen.
It does. It does. It really does. I feel, and anyone who's got a platform where they're showing they're in front of a camera constantly, has to be
Mm.
careful of that because you're being watched. You're sitting in front of a camera for people to quote unquote judge, and judge
Mm.
doesn't have to necessarily be a bad thing, but people form a perception, um, of you, of what you're talking about, of whether you're speaking as yourself or being a character. And
Yeah.
so I think it's really important to check yourself and think about, how you're feeling. Because if it becomes a thing where you're focusing too much on what other people have to say, what other people are thinking,
Yeah.
and not how you feel, then you're not doing it you're not doing it right, you know?
Mm.
You're not doing you have to put yourself first. You have
Yes.
to, and I think that happens often where people don't. So I'm a huge advocate for taking the time to check in with yourself and ask how you're feeling. One of my acting coaches in Tampa, I love her. Her name's Kathy Laughlin. I was studying with her for a few years before the pandemic, and she always talks about doing a self inventory. And a self inventory is taking inventory with your seeing how you feel. So like, just taking a moment to ask yourself, how do I feel? And then allow yourself to answer, whether that be, a stream of consciousness of, for example, how do I feel? I feel good. I feel happy. I feel warm. I feel, excited to be talking to you. How do I feel? Just go on like a rant of asking
Yeah.
yourself how you feel. And I think it is so, so important because sometimes, a lot of times we don't know how we feel, because it's
Mm.
taught to us to ask ourselves how we feel.
Yeah.
It's important though, especially with what we do.
Yes. Wow. That's so, so, so amazing to hear that. Just to talk about mental health in general. It's just
Mm.
I feel as though it's such a I don't want to say a touchy topic for people, but it's such
Mhm.
a important thing that needs to be said. And I feel as
Yeah.
though in the time we're in now, it's being highlighted, but I don't want to say it in a negative way. It's kind of like here's an awareness of mental health. Okay, deal with it. And it's just like,
Mhm.
nah, there's more to it.
Yes,
It's
there's
just
steps.
hey, yes, there are steps. There are major steps towards that. But I love how you said it starts with asking yourself, how are you feeling? And
Mhm.
being not only just answering that question, but being honest with yourself of how you feel in the
Sure.
moment. That was just beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for sharing
Oh,
that.
absolutely. Yes, I'm so glad
Right.
I can share that.
Yes, yes, for sure. But you touched on something about your why. And I think that's so important to
Mhm.
have to remind yourself of why are you doing what you're doing. And necessarily you have people in your life who influence you to do what you desire to do in your life. So I ask you, who are your biggest influencers, in your career and business?
Wow. Oh my goodness, so many people. When you asked that, it made me think of there's this 21 day abundance challenge that I did with Deepak Chopra.
Mm.
I love Deepak. I don't know if you know much about Deepak, but Deepak is a spiritual leader and he's amazing at what he does. He's been doing it for I don't know how long. But there was a 21-day abundance challenge. And on the first day, you have to write a list of 50 or more people who are influential in your life. And I've done that abundance challenge, I believe 2 or 3 times. But each time I do it, I find that I have different people on my list. And I think that's so beautiful that, like, you know, in life, you don't realize how many people are inspiring you, how many people have influence on your life. And so that changes so often. But some of the biggest people would for sure be my family. I love my family. I have um, 3 siblings, 6 nieces and nephews, and, I've yet to have any kids yet. My mom's like she's waiting. She's like, "You're the only one." But, yes, for sure my family, they inspire me in so many different unique ways. Um, I think about the women who, you know, I was, like, influenced by growing up. For example, like Halle Berry, she's one of my idols. I absolutely love what she's done with her career, um, in so many ways, and I love what she represents as a woman. I think about just, the greats, like, I don't know if you've seen the film, it just came out on Netflix, Don't Look Up.
Yes. Yes.
Good, so good.
Very good.
Everyone in that film, like, like, I would say just, like, great actors who love what they do, who come off as good human beings. Tyler Perry, who I've worked with, I'm constantly inspired by him because of course of what he's made from of himself, from coming from a place of, like, being in a really struggle situation to, owning this amazing lot and making so many opportunities for
Right.
people. So what he's done for himself, but also what he's done for people like me and so many more actors to come, who maybe the industry didn't give them the opportunities that they were looking for. Maybe nobody really saw in them what they saw in themselves. And, he says, here's a platform to create your art. And it's solely for you. If
Yeah.
you ask him, he does it. Sure, he does it for, the views and all that. But most importantly, he does it for us, the actors who,
Mm,
he believes in. And not only the actors, but he's making ways for, people on set
mm.
who like maybe never had a chance to work in production before, but now they have an extensive resume because of how quickly he shoots. Like with
Yeah.
here, you can have as a crew member, you can have, I don't know, maybe 5 or 6 projects under your belt, a few you can have, I mean, I think one season, I think Sisters filmed 2 seasons in 1 year, I think.
Yeah, I believe you. It sounds accurate. Just hearing
Yeah,
about how fast Tyler Perry works, within his studio, how
for
fast
sure.
turnaround is, and how it sounds a bit intimidating, but that's how he operates, and that's how that he's
Yeah.
legit about what he does.
It shows you, as an actress, I would say it showed me how strong and how talented and how much I can rise to an occasion in which, it sounds really daunting, like because the way he shoots, it's really fast. You can do like 100 plus pages of work in a day. And in a typical set, the most you probably will do is like 15 pages, and so for someone who's not really versed on that, it can be kind of scary, but it just shows you what you're made of. It shows you how strong and powerful and you know you're more powerful than and that's just in general. We're more powerful than we ever even know or we even believe about
Mhm.
ourselves. And he, gives you a platform to really see how strong you are and how talented and able to like, you know, just rise to an occasion.
Right.
And so yeah, those are a few people for
Yeah,
sure.
very notable people, and it's so important to give thanks to those who gave you the opportunity, for you to have been able to work with Tyler Perry and bringing up casting director Raven Drummer. These are people within the industry that are creating lanes for
Yes.
actors and actresses. And without them, there wouldn't necessarily be us. And
Yeah.
just to dive a little bit deeper with that, the power of representation that's happening right now because
Mhm.
of those two individuals is
Yes.
growing ever so quickly now with representation like those two. So yes, I love Raven Drummer. You know, I've been
Yeah.
for a few workshops and things along those lines.
Oh,
But
she's
of
amazing.
course, all great things, all great things. And
Yes.
yeah, just giving thanks to those individuals. Thank you for
Yeah,
sharing and highlighting them.
absolutely. I agree.
Yeah. So let's dive a little bit into your projects that you've worked on. And I love just having this conversation with individuals of how they prepare for a role or how that audition process went. You know, it's different for everyone because everyone's journey is so different. So I
Mhm.
ask you, you know, what makes a role a great fit for you? Are there certain qualities that you look for in being a part of a film? What's that like for you?
You know what? I feel like the roles that I get choose me. I really don't like I'm a woman who is big on my faith and my spirituality, and I believe that what I've been able to work on, the roles that I've gotten have been so spiritual and so connected to me in ways that I can't even put into words, so that like when the roles that I don't get, when they fall through, it's like, of course it hurts. I'm not gonna say that it doesn't hurt. I've had some roles this year that definitely that I didn't get that stung pretty hard, but the roles that I do get are so tied into my life and my reality that I'm just like, it's okay. Like for example, with Natalie on Bruh, it was just, I got that role in the middle of the pandemic. It was so interesting too because, I fell in love with yoga. I'd been doing yoga for a little while, but 2020, me and yoga were like this. Okay. I was doing yoga every day, all day. And it just really allowed me to feel centered and feel, just connected to the world and just to myself in such a time of uncertainty. Um, and so when I had auditioned for the role of Natalie, it was in August, and I remember, I was like laying in bed and I was going through my emails and I just saw the email from my agent, and I was like, "Oh, okay, cool. An audition, 6 pages. It's working with Tyler Perry again. Okay, cool. When is it due? Oh my God, it's due tomorrow." I have to work in the morning. I was working at a bar at that time, and so I had to work that morning. And so I was like, "Okay, how am I going to get this done? I'm gonna get it done, but how?" So I reached out to a friend who put me on tape, and I asked him, it's like, "Hey, I have to work tomorrow. The audition's due tomorrow at 8. Can you put me on tape?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure." So he's like, "I'll put you on tape in the morning." So I remember the feeling in bed, reading the script, reading the sides, and I was like, "Well, let me," because I always encourage, I always do it for myself, so I encourage other people to do it. If the show's out, watch a few episodes, get a feel for not only the show, but get a feel for the characters that you'll be working with. And so I read the script and I was like, okay, the scene, or the not the script, but the sides. So the character that I was going to be working opposite of, his name is Bill. So I put on the show and I'm looking through the lines as I'm watching the show, and I'm like, this is pretty funny. And so I got a feel for the show, got a feel for the actor I'd be working with, which was Monty Washington, an amazing, amazing actor, and he's an amazing human being as well. And so I just imagine myself, and this is a trick or a tool I would say that I want to offer to other actors is I envision myself or envision him as, my reader as him when I did the audition, but I also envisioned myself in the show. And I just allowed myself to believe. I was like, I'm just reading these sides because tomorrow I'm going to perform it as if I was in the show already. So, kind of like a law of attraction, acting as if kind of tool that I did. And so the next morning, I did the audition and I felt so confident, and I was like, done, submitted it, went to work that day. The following day, I got, not the following day, it was a few days later. That's when my agent was like, "You've been pinned." And I was going into my yoga class as she said that. And Natalie, by the way, is a yoga instructor. So I felt like it was so aligned and so like serendipitous that all of this was happening in the middle of a pandemic when I felt so uncertain. But I say that to say, like, your life and, well, at least my life, and the roles that I get are a blessing. They're a gift from God. I do this. I am an actor because God told me to be an actor. And in so many ways, in so many words, I feel like God wants me to do this, and that's why I continue on. I absolutely love it, of course, but I realize how much, you know, certain things are just meant for you, and they're meant for you to showcase and you to perform for people, and it's so tailored to you. That's why, we do this. That's why we continue to do this, because when it does pop, when you do get those roles, it's it's like a win for a lifetime, it just feels like a lifetime win.
Yeah. Wow. I was sitting back enjoying that story. Not even story, it's real life. What has happened to you was spiritually for you. And I loved you kind of sealed everything you said by saying what's for you is for you.
It
And
is.
it's okay that, when you're working hard for it and when it finally comes. And I love how you said you in a sense you literally put yourself in the show before you booked the show. And I'm a big manifesting person, manifestor, if
Mhm.
that's an
Yeah,
actual word, which I hope it is. But
it is. It
okay, good.
definitely is a
Manifestor
manifester, yep.
it in process. But I speak life over things,
Yes.
I will get this part. And watching the show, seeing yourself in it, that's a form of manifesting as
For
well.
sure.
So to see, or not necessarily to see, to hear you say everything that you said of how you envisioned
Mhm.
yourself in it, you envisioned your reader as the actor you would play along with in the show
Yeah.
that you booked. And I thought it was cute for you to have gone to yoga class and to hear that you got pins and
Mhm.
Natalie is a yoga instructor or involved
Instructor.
in yoga. It's a
Ugh.
beautiful, it's a
I every
beautiful
time I think
training.
of it, it takes me back to that place, and it fills my heart up because, you know, like, God is so he loves us so much that
Yeah.
he will tie in your dreams with, like, just these moments that are they're so profound that you have to share them with people. And
Mm,
that's the purpose, I like, we're storytellers, and that is a story. It's my life story, but it's a story, and it's something that I want to share to keep people going because, life isn't easy, and
yeah.
there's some rough moments, and people lose hope, and, you know, that God allowed all of those things to happen for me so that I can share them with people, and people can feel, like, hopeful and excited for the future and excited for, like, what's to come and what could come of their life.
Right.
So I'm just really grateful that I could even, I can share that.
Yeah, of course. God gave this story to you to share with other people, and you're
Mhm.
doing your job and sharing it with other people, inspiring them in that sense.
Yeah.
So, you're doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Amen.
Amen. Right, right, right. So, just to dive a little bit deeper about just your life as a working actress, and with this journey that everyone has to go through just in life as an actor, as a 9 to 5 worker, we all have lessons we learned through our lives. So I ask you, what are some of the major lessons you've learned from your career as a working actress? What is some form of advice that you wish you known then, but you could give someone that opportunity to not make that same mistake?
Sure, sure. Um, I would say one of the greatest pieces of advice that I would give to actors, anyone pursuing, their dreams or anything like that, is to just enjoy your life and enjoy the journey. And I know that we hear that all the time. I know that it's been said so many ways and so many times, but it is so important because it's really about the journey. It's really about what's happening in the meantime. You have this where you're at and then where you want to be. And then there's all of this that's in the in between. And we think that like this is like the joy, but the meat and the potatoes. And
Yeah.
it is, it's a great place to be once you get to the top of that mountain. But what happens from this place to here is the beauty, is the magic, is why we do it. Because without all of that, the destination just is not as sweet. It's not fulfilling. It's not worthy of a story. And if it was a case of like just that destination of being on a TV show, or being in a major film, working with who the actors that you've like always envisioned yourself working with,
Mm.
if it was just about that, then we wouldn't even watch movies.
Yeah.
The point of a movie, you don't watch the movie and then just go to the end. We want to know what happens getting there. We want to know what that person had to endure going through that process. So enjoy the journey and allow yourself to, even in those dark moments, allow yourself to see that there is beauty, there is a purpose. You don't have to give it up, when things don't look so bright, when you're not hearing back, when you're not getting called back, or
Mm.
you know, when you're if you lose an agent or they drop you or whatever, it's not the end. If you really love it, just know that these tough times are part of the story, and the story is the reason why you do it. It's about that. It's people want to hear how you got there.
Of course, yeah. With every story, it's tailored to you in some sort of way. That's why it's called your story.
Yes.
And like how you said, it's like the meat and the potatoes. I giggled. That was cute. I like that because we focus so much on getting there, and we lose the journey of it all from start to end. Necessarily, there is no end because there's always something that we desire and that we want to achieve. However, you can sometimes get lost in your journey right now and not even see the growth from, let's say, a year or two ago. And I think that's why it's so humbling to remind yourself of a why, just tying back to that, to tie yourself, to think back on why you're doing this. I'm doing this for my family. I'm doing this because I love this. I'm doing this because of the individuals who are giving me the platform to do so. Those all tailor to us in some way, shape, or form that allows our journey to reach our destination. So
And I love that you say that about, just thinking about where you've come from and how far you've come. And, I like, even in this moment, I'm reminded of that, thinking back to when I was in acting class, and I just was starting, and, not only not having my own process, but also not having any work under my belt. And, you know, it's been a beautiful journey. It's been a long journey, and it's been very rewarding. Just to even be having this one-on-one with you. It's rewarding. Because I know that space of like just beginning, and how daunting it could all feel, but also super exciting, and like you don't know what it's gonna look like because everyone's journey is so different, and everyone's like rise to a place of like being a working actor is different. And just thinking I'm here now, because I remember when I desired to be here. So it is beautiful. It's nice to know that
Yeah,
it's
it is.
it is it's very rewarding.
Yeah, and I think that's such a beautiful thing. One, I'm happy you're able to reflect back because this is what this platform is about really, to reflect, to share, to give inspiration to individuals. So I'm glad you're able to.
Oh, and you're doing that. That's amazing. It is. It's so amazing.
No, I mean, I'm just saying you didn't have to share that, but you did. And I just want to share, how much that means to me, because that just reminds me of my why and why I'm doing this.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is amazing.
Oh, I'm going to start crying. 'Cause I will. I'm
I
very.
will too. Listen, I'm emotional too. Okay.
Oh man, oh man, oh man. Okay, I just have a few more questions for you. These are how can I say this? Questions that you aspire to have, futuristic questions, if I should say. And
Mhm.
with this industry changing oh so much, there's a lot of things that you can do as an actor or an actress.
Yeah.
We never want to just be one thing. You want to be the jack of all trades, be able to learn as much as you possibly can. So I ask you,
Mhm.
where do you desire to see yourself 5 to 10 years down the line? Would you like to pick up the
Mhm.
hat of directing? Would you like to, do your own path and just, start creating films and television shows for us and for us?
Oh
The
my
sky's the limit, really.
It is, it is. Oh my gosh, such a beautiful question because before I moved to LA, I really didn't have a desire to do anything but act. And I think through living here and being immersed in the industry and the artistry of it all and meeting other actors, meeting other directors, just meeting other people in the industry on like a larger spectrum than I was when I was in Florida. I have so many desires. I absolutely cannot wait to direct. I absolutely I'm ready to do it all. There's nothing that's off the table. I'm dabbling in writing, which is fun. I've always like loved pen to paper. Like I journal like it's nobody's business. Every single day I'm writing something with my hands. I love the sensation of it. And I never really thought, I would have a hand at like creating a story on like with my own, by myself. And, I started that and I'm like, I love it. I just love everything to do with storytelling. So I absolutely will be directing. I'll be doing like the whole spectrum, producing, writing, all of it. So it's just a matter of time. Yeah, I'm really excited actually for the next 5 to 10 years. I would love to have in the next 5 years, um, one of those on the production side of things under my belt, on a like global scale.
Yeah. I love this question because you really don't know.
Mhm.
And it's one of those things where you're saying it now, you're really speaking life 5 to 10 years down the line. Like everything you're saying right now, you're doing the work right now for that to come true in due time. It may take, I don't want to say necessarily takes longer, but in God's timing, it's for you in his timing. And once you're ready for it, you'll be ready for it. So I
Yes.
like to hear people's, when people talk about what they desire to do with their life 5 to 10 years down the line, you may not see it now, but
Mhm.
once you get there, it's rewarding. Truly
Oh my
is.
God, so rewarding. Directing, I'm like super excited about that though. For sure.
Ah, yes, as you should. That'd be fantastic.
It's gonna be so good because I start to see how you start to realize the talents that you do have that you didn't even recognize that you had, and you're like, wow, like I'm good at that.
Yeah,
It feels
right.
good to say that, feels really good to say I'm good at that, and I think more people should spend more time saying that, finding things that
Mhm.
they're good at and like really speaking that out because the power of tongue and how it infuses within your life, it also you're giving out to so many people that people you'll never get to meet, which is like
Mm,
so amazing to me.
yeah.
You're doing something on such a scale that will affect people that you won't even be able to like you'll never even see or hear from. That's
Mm.
just I'm so excited for what's
Yeah, you should be. And that just shows how much you're passionate about what you're doing and how much you believe in yourself as a working actress, future director. These are taking that title. There's so many stories that we can tell. And with that opportunity to be able to do so, you can reach hundreds and millions of people with an hour and 15-minute film or even a
right.
35-minute TV show with
Yep.
3 or 4 seasons. And it can touch so many people.
Issa Rae. Issa
Right.
Rae. Oh my God.
Exactly. Just having her as a prime example, showing us
I
how it can be done, and
know.
people can follow in her footsteps in their tailored path to achieve exactly what she's doing right now. Yeah, it's a wonderful thing to
Thank
have
God.
those type of people.
Thank God for Issa Rae.
Honestly, 'cause
For real.
who
Thank
would
God
have
for
been our leader?
Oh my yeah. Honestly, she did it so boldly. Started off with a web series, which I used to watch, which is so
Wow,
funny.
yeah.
I used to watch it, Awkward Black Girl, and for her to do something like that for she's I mean, we can go on and on about Issa Rae.
We can, and it's a beautiful thing that we can go on and on about her.
Yes.
She's doing a lot and showing us it's possible for
Showing us
anybody,
it's
for
possible.
anybody. Yes. So I have my last question for you. Honestly, I've enjoyed speaking with you. It's crazy.
Oh,
It's my
love
first
it
time
too.
meeting you. I feel like I know you already.
Aw.
And yeah, it's a beautiful thing to be able to talk to like-minded individuals, people who are on the same path
Absolutely.
as you, and just to share with one another, enjoy each other's company, things along those lines. So
Mm.
this question, I ask all of my guests this. It's a cute, simple, short, sweet answer, but you have the floor to answer this. How do you desire to use your platform to inspire others? You can have
Oh,
fun.
love that. I just want whoever's watching this to know that you are more incredible, more powerful, more exciting, interesting than you give yourself credit for, and people are paying attention, and it's important to know that despite you're feeling inadequate or low, you can do far more than you could ever imagine just by believing in yourself and knowing that you were created for a divine purpose. And if you feel that in your heart, if you feel like there's something greater that you're supposed to be doing, follow that path and don't even ask questions. Please don't let the small minds of others, the and inability to see you in that light stop you from what you're doing, because the way that our creator, the most high God, has visualized us to be, if you knew that, even if I mean, I don't know what he has planned for me, or how he sees me, but it is in line with those who inspire you. If you see that inspiration, if someone inspires you to the way to and compels you and makes you feel something, a fire in your heart, know that is it's not a coincidence. It's very symbiotic, and it's alignment. It's alignment, and it's proof that you are you are as great or even greater than you could ever give yourself credit for. So go far, go forward, and allow yourself to surprise yourself with how much you can do, and how much you can do for yourself and for the world.
Wow. So well said. That's the inspiration I needed, and I hope viewers are taking away from this whole entire interview. We talked about a lot, but when something is tailored for you, it is for you, and it is your job. Not even your job, it is your divine purpose to go
Yes.
after it with full force.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What you're doing is incredible. I'm so proud of you. We just met, but I'm extremely proud of you. This is so important. And,
Mm.
just taking that leap of faith and going forward, and with what I just said, you just did it. And that's beautiful. And I'm grateful for this platform. So I know there's so many others who are as well. So
Thank you so much. Really
congratulations.
appreciate it. Guys, I just met her. I swear. I just
We
met
knew
her.
each other in a past life.
Honestly, maybe. I mean, hey, listen. If it was God's divine path for me to meet you, that's
Exactly.
perfectly fine. I'm for it. I'm all for it.
Absolutely.
But for our viewers out there, thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of Aspire to Inspire. Of course, more industry professionals will be coming to you guys real soon. But until next time, see you guys later. Thank you so much for joining
Bye.
me.
Thank you. Bye, guys.